I think everybody needs to get a grip. You got to stay together if you got the guts, and you don't find the first door and run out of it.
There are no obstacles. There's no obstacles. All there are accusations and opinions. We have done this since 1995.
We'll find out what we're made of here if you got the guts.
This is Guts Check with Greg Sylvander.
What's up, Heat Nation? Greg Sylvander here with the latest edition of Guts Check on the 5 on the Floor podcast for 5 Reasons Sports. Although this edition of Guts Check is coming to you in visual format versus audio, we're excited to start to migrate more and more of our content onto our YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed there for all of the latest Miami Heat breaking news, analysis, game recaps, and even segments like this one. So more and more content, you'll be finding it there in visual format on YouTube. So Guts Check, here we go. Last night wasn't the result we were hoping for. The Miami Heat lost to the Phoenix Suns 119-112. But if there was ever a game where there were some short-term lumps, but long-term, we were looking at it and there were some positives to take, I think last night was an example of that. Led by the play of point hero, Tyler Herro. Unbelievable stuff when you think about the fact that the Heat were down Kendrick Nunn, who left the bubble for personal reasons. Jimmy Butler out with a foot injury. He facilitates so much offense. Goran Dragic sat out, playing it safe with the ankle. We really were down to the nuts and bolts of what you would have at the point guard position, and Tyler Herro was the guy. And boy, did he step up to the plate. 36 minutes, so heavy lifting for him. He ended the game with 25 points on 10 of 16 shooting, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, only 2 turnovers. Did all that with only hitting 1 3-point field goal attempt. So this was a different Tyler Herro game than the one we're used to seeing. This was him initiating offense, getting other guys involved, getting in the lane. I think some of the finishes in traffic, really some of the touch around the rim, those things are huge. And to see Tyler Herro kind of put that all together and package it in a way last night that was against a team that's fighting for their playoff lives. So this wasn't the Charlotte Hornets in the middle of February, guys. This was Tyler Herro against not a good defensive Phoenix Suns team, but a team that absolutely was going all out to try to win that game, and Herro stepped up to the plate individually. I thought it had a few different wrinkles from a long-term and short-term implications perspective that we should absolutely discuss. One is Kendrick Nunn has struggled. I don't think it's a secret since bubble play has started. He has been one of the players that's been most concerning if we've watched so far. And I think that this allows Coach Spoelstra to naturally make this transition of Tyler Herro as a starting guard for your Miami Heat going forward. I think that this was inevitable. Next season, Tyler Herro was probably, if I had to project out, slated to become the starting guard next year. Well, we're here. Now is the time that I think Spo can, in good conscience, insert Tyler Herro into the starting lineup alongside Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and Jay Crowder, and not look back. So I think that that's big from a short-term perspective, in that you're starting to find out who's going to be the guys surrounding Jimmy and Bam as we get into this playoff stretch. And also, seeing Herro unlock the things that we did last night, it started to make me wonder about exactly, what we can do from a team building perspective if you already have your backcourt in place. We talk about the guys around the league that the Heat have focused on, or that reports have surfaced on the Heat being interested in, whether it's Bradley Beal, whether it's Donovan Mitchell, whether it's Victor Oladipo. There's probably 4 or 5 other names that I'll hope traffic next week, but we'll wait for that. If you already have Tyler Herro and Jimmy Butler and Duncan Robinson, your backcourt's kind of set, right, from a starting perspective. And I don't think that we've necessarily always approached this team building thing with that in mind. I think that there's been an overarching, almost assumption that at some point the Heat are going to have to consolidate some of this young talent to bring in that third star to pair with, or I guess, I don't know what you do with 2 extra guys when you make it 3, but the trio of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and third star. I think the leader in the clubhouse has been Victor Oladipo for the most part. That's kind of, if you had to poll the league on the most probable player to end up in a Miami Heat uniform in the next 2 off seasons, Victor Oladipo would be that guy. But I think that a question could be raised now about how you go about getting to that point. Because if Tyler Herro is really capable of giving you this type of production on a consistent basis, maybe not 25, 10, and 8 on a nightly basis. Let's wait a couple of years before we get there. I'll hope traffic that later. If he's able to do anything, any resemblance of this on a consistent basis, you've kind of got your guards and your shooters set. And you'd really, if you're looking for a 5th starter around Duncan Robinson, Bam, Jimmy, and Tyler Herro, you'd almost start to lean in the front court. And that would be completely contradictory to how we've thought about building the team so far. And that was something that really, I don't think that we've necessarily embraced maybe as much as we should. And what it could mean for the Heat if Tyler Herro does ascend into a starting caliber guard that can do the things we saw last night and complement Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, not hemorrhage on the defensive end. Those are all huge things that I think maybe we didn't expect to see so soon, or maybe not at all. So definitely there's some long-term implications because, if you don't have to package Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson to go get a Bradley Beal or a Donovan Mitchell or a CJ McCollum or whoever the name of the week is, in the next 2 off seasons, you both times are going to have the opportunity to capitalize on max cap space. Obviously there's lots of things from the collective bargaining perspective that need to get ironed out. Cap smoothing is what we hope for so that it does not adversely affect Miami's ability to spend in the next 2 off seasons. But ultimately, you're going to have the flexibility to add a major piece in one of the next 2 off seasons. But if you already have Herro, Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy, you've got 4 of your 5 starters. So it starts to simplify and make clear the direction that you need to go. And it could also start to raise eyebrows about what you would be looking at from a front court perspective instead of all of this guard heavy focus that we've been doing on 5 on the floor and basically the entire league as they've projected which direction the Heat would go from a roster building perspective in the next 2 off seasons. So I thought that was pretty significant. There's these moments that these players have. I remember Caron Butler defending Michael Jordan, a Washington Wizards Michael Jordan in his rookie year. And just the level of competition, I knew Caron was going to be a player. Dwayne Wade, we knew he was going to be a player when he yammed on Christian Laettner's head. That was also against the Wizards, mind you. But also when he hit that game winner against Charlotte in game 1 of the playoffs as a rookie, you kind of knew Dwayne was the trajectory was at another level. Well, you see more and more of these type of performances from Tyler Herro, and I think that we can start to think about him not just as a good complementary piece, but as a main core star level player. I know it's one game, and I am one that absolutely will jump to these conclusions, and we will become cocky Heat fan quickly. But that one game was pretty indicative of some things that I think we'll continue to see going forward, and particularly with Jimmy Butler back in the lineup, it'll only help Tyler Herro's confidence. It's going to open up more opportunities for Tyler Herro to be open when you have the focus back on Jimmy Butler as he returns to the lineup. So I just think that there was a lot of positives that kind of transcend the X's and O's or the final score of last night's game. So ultimately, if we're talking about guts check this week, have the guts to stick by this particular group in the next 2 off seasons. Don't be so quick to clamor for the first trade opportunity that comes about, because it may be the prudent approach to keep Tyler Herro, to keep Duncan Robinson, keep mining for other gems so that you create bench strength with additional shooters, additional defenders, 3-and-D guys, and then just see what player becomes available, because you're going to have this max cap space. You're going to have the chance to plug and play another high caliber player that raises the ceiling on this Heat team in a way that maybe we didn't think we would be able to, right? Because if you have to consolidate 2 or more of these assets to gain a Bradley Beal, you have to also consider how much better are you really getting. Whereas if you can add a player to this mix and not give up anybody, you're really you're positively impacting the ceiling of the team, and you're not gutting the roster in any way, or you're saving those assets to shore up other parts of the roster. So I thought what we saw from Herro was really big. It was one of those like seminal moments where you say, whoa, is this kid on some next level stuff? The step back against Philly obviously shows his big game mentality, but this was more of an intrinsic kind of seeing and feeling the game in a way that I don't know that we expected to see from Tyler Herro 3 games before playoff time. So let's hope we continue to see it. Another big one Monday night against the Indiana Pacers. Lots of seeding at hand. It will be a hotly contested game. We expect to see Jimmy Butler back in uniform. I think you'll see Kendrick Nunn hopefully by the end of maybe the last game of bubble play or game 1 of the playoffs. So we should be whole from a roster perspective soon. And who knows if that whole roster should stick around in the next 2 off seasons. But my call to Heat fans would be to hang tight, have faith in the front office at this point that they're going to pull the trigger on the right move, have the right level of patience to consolidate the assets when the time is right, and not just jump at the first name that comes about. Because it looks like Tyler Herro's the real deal, y'all. So point Herro. That's Guts Check for 5 on the Floor on 5 Reasons Sports. Thanks for listening. Greg Sylvander signing off.